It was a long week for economic data, and some of it showed that tariffs are beginning to hit consumers harder. And today, the president teased that tariffs on semiconductors that could be set as soon as next week. Those tariffs could be between 200% and 300%. Well, as much as economic data we got all week, I have been waiting all week to talk to this guy, my friend Justin Wolfers. He is a professor of economics and public policy at the University of Michigan. I want to talk about everything, but let's start specifically, Justin. 300%. What do you make of this?
It's bananas, it's berserk, and it's a little bit crazy all at once. The funny thing was, I thought he'd already announced he was going to put a 100% tariff on semiconductors. And the interview I saw, he said, well, maybe 200 or 300%. Now, I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like a serious considered policy process to me. The other thing is, last time Trump tried tariffs, he realized if we all ended up paying more for our laptops and our cell phones, that we'd be very upset. So in fact, he has a carve out for computers and smartphones. And so the implication is that if you bring across a semiconductor inside a computer, it'll get no tariff. But if you pluck it out of the computer, it'll get 300%. None of this makes sense, Steph.
Okay, well, he actually mentioned a possible exemption for companies that manufacture here in the United States. How would that even work? And I just want to point out, he keeps saying, come this time next year, all the manufacturing that's going to happen. We see no evidence of any of those plans as of yet.
Absolutely. Look, what's really happening here, we can go into the semiconductor case in particular, but what's happening far more broadly is this bloke still thinks he's running the Trump organization. He's got all these subdivisions. One's the chip-making subdivision, and he thinks he's the CEO of that. Remember that he just told Intel that it had to fire its CEO, and then a week later says, well, maybe the government, our stock picker in chief, that is the president, said, well, maybe we'll take a big position in Intel. He's telling Coke to put sugar instead of corn syrup in their beverages. He's telling Harvard who to hire. It's baffling. He's going company by company, saying you're only allowed to export chips if you pay me the following tax. A commander-in-chief is not meant to go through the economy company by company. You're meant to set the rules and then let people compete.
Which is exactly how one would think a pro-business, pro-growth, as he characterizes himself, president would conduct himself. So given all that you just said, and that his recent moves are bananas, berserk, and a little bit crazy, how come we're not hearing companies speak out? How come the markets aren't failing?
Well, so why aren't companies speaking out? It's completely clear. We are now in the early stages of crony capitalism. If you want your company to succeed, the most important thing is not that you build a better mousetrap, you create a better iPhone. It's that you turn up in the Oval Office with just the right gaudy object and you make sure that it's made of 24-karat gold. The most important business asset right now is being friends with the White House. And by the way, it's not just happening in the corporate domain, although I care a lot about that. Of course, we've now got the federal government running local police forces as well. This is drunk on power. There's a deep argument in economics. How much should we trust the market versus trusting government? And the place the US has historically come out is we're a market-oriented economy with a safety net provided by government. And that's because we have tremendous humility. The humility is that no wise man is smart enough to know which companies should produce how much, in which industries, in which locations, employing which people, and on it goes. We think no man is smart enough, so we leave it to market forces. This is literally the battle that Ronald Reagan fought. And we have literally a Republican president who is the closest to an anti-Reagan president we've had in our lifetimes.
Then if we are entering early stage crony capitalism, where will we be? Where will our economy be 1 year from now?
So I think that's the difficult thing. It's going to be bad for our economy, but it doesn't all play out at once. Right. So right now, Apple has hundreds, thousands of engineers working on the next iPhone, and they're all brilliant people, and they're all going to keep doing their job for the next year. But if you change the rules of the game then it becomes less important for Apple or the next version of Apple to innovate. Instead, they'll spend all their money, all their time, and all their resources in Washington. So the thing to realize is this isn't necessary. This crony capitalism isn't what's going to throw us into a recession. But what it is going to do is fundamentally change the course of American capitalism in such a way that your kids will be less wealthy than they would otherwise be. And if you look at the cross-national comparisons, countries that have been down this path before, there's not a single one of them that you'd want to emulate. So this has really big consequences, but they play out over decades.